Good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm going to talk a little bit today about why it's interesting to decentralize AI. Our industry talks a lot about decentralization as a shorthand for something that is inherently good. It is unclear that this is true in all cases. Money itself is a social construct, and in an industry that is largely concerned with money and finance, decentralization is fundamentally a philosophical argument about who controls what and how. There are very clear positives to financial decentralization, such as financial inclusions. Stablecoins have probably done more to lower the cost of remittances than any other tool in the last 50 years. But it also comes with substantial negatives. The lack of consumer protection is probably the greatest example. Hence, in our industry, decentralization is an article of faith rather than a fundamental truth. But when we get to AI, we quickly discover that we move out of the realm of philosophy. Instead, we find a territory where decentralization has substantial concrete benefits. Decentralization of AI can result in better, more accurate AI models. And this is good for business and for society at large, and for the advancement of artificial intelligence. It's my belief that AI is the most obvious use case for blockchain, and in the coming 5 years, it will drive blockchain's mainstream adoption. So what are our motivations for decentralizing AI? Why does decentralization present a convincing route for better and more useful AI? First, we need to start with what is wrong with centralized AI. That is, AI that is built and operated by singular parties. It suffers from, fundamentally, it suffers from substantial drawbacks that make it far less useful. AI models can give poor inferences. They can also hallucinate things that do not and have never existed. Fundamentally, this is caused by a combination of bias existing in the data, insufficient data, and poor model specification. What this means for you, the user, is that the models are far less useful, sometimes dangerous. For businesses that adopt AI, this means they're exposed to reputational, financial, and legal risk when a chatbot goes rogue, a medical diagnosis is wrong, or a self-driving car doesn't see something it should. This risk, the risk that comes with centralized AI, reduces the value of AI to people and to businesses. Solving for higher quality inferences is the bedrock of AI research. It is the most important thing we have to solve for. And at FLR, we believe that centralization is one particular route to do this. A second aspect that we've seen a lot recently is intellectual property theft. The competition to build useful AI has resulted in a disregard for moral and legal risks. In the race to get to usable generative models, it's clear that protected intellectual property has been used in the training process. This disregard for property rights makes the products of these AI models less usable because it introduces legal risk. Can a Hollywood studio legally distribute a film that excessively borrows from other people's work? Can a pharma company release a drug that was designed using other people's intellectual property? Again, with centralized AI, we see that the risk that comes with it is very substantial, and that it reduces the value of using AI to people and to businesses. Centralized AI, that is, a technology that competes with the human mind, could be the last battle between capital and labor. The control of AI results perhaps in the greatest shift in power of any technological innovation in history. If both the hardware and the algorithms associated with AI continue to be owned solely by a handful of large companies, what power does that bestow on them? Will you be able to buy groceries if you don't espouse the right viewpoints? Will your business be able to utilize services vital to its operation if it operates in a sector that isn't favored or in any way competes with an incumbent? Again, the risks that come with centralized AI reduce the value of AI, and decentralizing AI looks to alleviate those risks, making AI more useful to people, to businesses, and to society. So we've already taken a first step in decentralizing AI, and that's distributed AI. These are things like federated learning. But distributed AI is essentially AI that involves multiple participants, not necessarily within the same organization. But it also has downsides. These systems most often have a central party that collects and aggregates the results from participants. That central party almost always knows the model structure, and this means that it's very hard for a participant to protect their proprietary data, because the underlying data can be inferred from the model outputs. Secondly, there are no meaningful methods to screen out malicious participants, barring the use of trust. This limits the ability of entities to collaborate. Rewarding the participants is complex. So existing distributed AI models are not optimal for encouraging collaboration. And shortly we'll come on to why collaboration can be very important. So what problems in AI can decentralization solve? If one of the biggest issues of centralized AI is low-quality inferences, due in part to bias in data or an insufficient amount of data, then having a method to amass data and pay for its value is a useful thing. It is, however, of limited application, because data, when it's valuable, on the whole, most people don't want to sell it or share it. And so data marketplaces that are being built in crypto are probably only useful in a limited set of circumstances. Being able to verify through a group of arbiters that a data set is free from protected IP reduces the risk of using a model that gets your business in trouble. Verifying that a particular inference comes from a particular model that's sitting in the cloud so that an application can be sure of the origin of that inference can be useful. Decentralized infrastructure networks, such as decentralized GPU networks, can reduce the reliance on centralized parties. And again, this kind of system can bake in a payment mechanism. These are examples of projects that are building broadly in crypto and AI, but we think you can go a lot further. At FLR, what we're working on is essentially trying to combine and make collaborative AI such that entities can come together to build essentially a singular AI model as a combination of other AI models. So to introduce consensus learning, what is it? In short, it's a new model of artificial intelligence consisting of a blockchain where the validators train and operate models off-chain. We call these entities learners, and the models can range from being built from scratch to using large pre-trained models and fine-tuning them to their needs. An input on which an inference is required will be submitted on the chain. Each learner can then obtain an inference against that input from their own model or various models and provide an initial prediction to the network. Learners transmit their initial predictions within the network according to a consensus or gossip protocol. During these exchanges, the participants can update their inferences over time. So if they are less confident about their own inference, they can look at the weight of other inferences and they can decide to change their own inference. At the end of this phase, participants come to an agreement or consensus on the decision seemed optimal, given the information available within the network. This process is then repeated for any new data outputs. So why is this interesting? Well, if you take one thing with you today, it's simply this. Earlier I mentioned that poor inferences and hallucinations originate from a combination of bias in the data, insufficient data, and poor model specification. I'll try to give some intuition as to what consensus learning can do. Tesla, Uber, Google, and Mercedes all have self-driving systems. All those systems are trained on their own data sets that are in some way proprietary. Each of their data sets holds specific information, and more importantly, lacks specific information unique only to their data set. They then have a model or a set of models that they have optimized to their data set. Each model has insight based on that specific data set and faults, again, unique to their data set. But if we can take all of these models and all of this data and come up with a combined model that screens out the lack of information of each data set and the specific faults of each model, then this results in a higher accuracy model that results in fewer accidents, therefore making a self-driving model more useful. But there aren't currently good incentives for them to share and to collaborate. Neither centralized learning nor distributed learning, nor the existing projects in AI and blockchain give these companies a safe method to collaborate to generate a system that benefits them all and facilitates the widespread introduction of autonomous driving. This is because their data would be essentially obtainable by each other, their models would be obtainable by each other, and they likely don't trust each other not to insert bad inferences, as in to be a malicious actor. This problem is widespread in AI, and it applies from autonomous vehicles to healthcare, to finance, to drug research, large language models, and the rest. The models are trained on data that is incomplete. The models have a lack of knowledge, and combining those models, essentially combining that data, would create a better product. Well, consensus learning provides a mechanism to correct this, but most importantly, without those entities sharing their data, without sharing their models, in the presence of malicious actors, and it allows them to get to better inferences, to reduce the risk of AI, which furthers the utility of artificial intelligence. This is why I believe that blockchain goes mainstream with AI. This is why I believe that AI presents a far bigger use case for blockchain than finance. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. So, little hiatus, little getaway. Can't tell you guys where because you're supposed to guess. But, no crash today. I'm Edy. I really thought that you guys should listen to that all the way through, even though if it's a little boring at first or anywhere in between. So that's Hugo Filion, I think his name is. That's the head of FLR. You probably know that or maybe have been introduced, but that's who's kind of heading up not the blockchain, but the development of the nonprofit and stuff. So heading up all the intelligence behind it. Pretty interesting that they're getting into AI. I mean, the use cases for that token are kind of unreal. This isn't financial advice, for educational and fun. So, purposes only for this channel, so don't forget that. So, yeah, I just wanted you to kind of definitely hear that. I think it's important. I'm always going to put stuff that's important with the space. If I find it, I'll throw it out there for you guys because it's definitely worth your time. I don't want to waste your time. So there's that. So yeah, we're back. I'm back. I introduced you to Limsey, one of our crashes. She'll be on every now and again. Also, just to wrap this up with the 500 FLR reward, if you guess where we went And I'm going to put a cap on it of midnight on Monday. If no one's guessed it by then, the deal's off and no one wins it. So don't forget, you have to make a comment about anything. Preferably hit the like, but go ahead and dislike it if you want. I don't care. And then also send your response to rewards@skearch.net. I will drop this video down below. I think that's the entire video, but courtesy of the FLR channel, community channel, I think it is. Much appreciated. That's some golden information. Give them a like and subscribe and follow and listen and all that good stuff. So yeah, ton going on. We missed a ton, including the Bitcoin halving while we were gone. I'm going to do a recap of what I found on the road because it was another country. And I did definitely research crypto because I wanted to see, I just have a fascination with currency and assets and the whole financial market. And that's kind of how I got into this. It's another asset class. And once I realized that, I just thought, wow, there is going to be so much opportunity. And it's honestly blown me away with the amount of opportunity that just keeps coming. I mean, it doesn't end in this space. So, do your own research, but understand that there is just so much opportunity and you are going to get sucked in if you have a pulse on the planet Earth. You are going to get sucked into this new financial system one way or another. So there's basically going to be, it seems like to me, a couple parallel systems, and you're going to have to be in both. So to optimally manage your assets, you won't have to be in both, I don't think, if you don't have any assets, because the crypto they're going to hand out, meaning, all the different countries, it is not going to be in the system from what I can tell. They're going to act like it is, but it's not. It's not going to be, one of the private cryptos that actually has use case and utility. It's going to be fiat, basically a digital form of fiat that you will probably, I don't know if everyone's going to have to use it. For now, from time to time, you're going to have to. Eventually, I think fiat dies and we move on. Just study your history and you'll kind of see what happens with that, because we're going through it. It's very, very obvious that we are going through it as a globe, and it's a big nut. Just takes a while to go through, so you'll see it. As far as DeFi goes, we follow FLR on this as one of the DeFi ecosystems. So we're going to continue to do that. If there's other ones that are brought and you guys want to look at, bring it. We'll do it. I'm not opposed to looking at anything. I'm not a maxi of any sort. Just utility. I'm kind of a utility maxi, I guess. So anyways, you guys have a great day. We'll be back with there's a lot we got to cover. Again, I'm challenged to make these videos, but we're going to continue doing it because I do see some value in it. I think I can bring you guys some good value and, have fun as a little community. See what's up. So, 1 second here. I'm going to be right back. So like I said, we got a lot to cover. I wanted you to just hear this today. We will be back in touch soon with another video and some more content and stuff. So have a great day. Don't forget, God helps those who help themselves. Hit the like and subscribe on your way out. Send this to anyone you think it might help. We got to continue to build the community and have some fun as we do it. Talk to you later. Edy is out. See ya.